So, welcome to creating a brand message that influences, and this is brought to you by the Industream, where we meet, build, and succeed. And as we go through this webinar, I hope that you guys will learn something valuable. I hope that you guys will also take this information that it is that you guys will be learning tonight and share that with somebody that you feel could definitely use the information. So I'm going to actually go ahead and talk a little bit about myself, who it is that I am, and what it is that I do. My name is Kesean Kenton. I'm Brand and Creative Director for Proto Image. And at Proto Image, we do branding, graphic design, printing, anything really that deals with multimedia we deal with. But recently we have transitioned more over into the branding aspect of things. And I'll explain a little bit further on why it is that we have done that. A little while ago, I was pretty much lost in life. I really didn't know what it is that I wanted to do with my life going on into the future. And, I picked up a few books and I started reading a whole lot more, checking out some online articles and getting around some really, really good people. And I was fortunate enough to come across a couple good mentors that I even have, with me today. And they really helped to focus my mind in on things that matter. And they made me realize that if you're not focused, and when I say focused, I mean like laser focused, where your whole being is wrapped up into whatever it is that you set out to do, then success it'll kind of lag and it'll take quite a bit to really get where it is that you want to go. So they really gave me that focus. And they also told me something that was very important. They said, Kesean, you have to have a mission. And so that's when I set out to find out what is my mission. And I kind of pinpointed it down. It didn't take, a couple of days. It actually took, a few months for me to pinpoint this. And that really is simple. It's to inspire positive change in whatever it is that I do. So whether it's through a conversation, whether it's through this webinar, whether it's through, me speaking or whatever it is, my whole goal, my whole MO really is to inspire positive change. And through this webinar and through my blogs and things like that, I really strive to provide quality content that others may use to change their lives in whatever way they feel that the information that's presented is relevant to them. So this, again, really is just another what to my why. Now, along my journey, I learned a few lessons, and these lessons I want to impart onto you guys. So if you guys have, your pen and paper ready, you guys could go ahead and, jot some of these down, because I do believe that these are nuggets that we could all use in life to, further ourselves and to really get things done. And the first one really is decisions are better made when the purpose is defined. The next thing is information is useless unless it is intelligibly applied. So it's one thing to learn a lot and to know a lot, but in reality, to gain, the full effect of the information that it is that you've gathered, you really have to apply it. And again, action trumps talk, right? There's a lot of people out there that talk a big talk, and really when it comes down to it, they lack action. They really lack action. That's one of the things that caught me as well too, where I realized that I was saying a lot of things, and people might have been seeing me in certain areas or being affiliated with certain individuals. I would talk a big talk, but really what my downfall was the action part, and that's what I really had to learn in order to take myself and my brand to the next level. I really had to learn to act on what it is that I was saying. The next thing is, if it can be done now, do it. One of my mentors taught me the idea, what is called the fierce urgency of now. And that's pretty much what it is that I said there. If it can be done now, then do it, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. The next thing is, how you communicate can affect how others relate to the content you are providing. And we're going to definitely touch a little bit on that in this webinar. You guys will see that scattered out throughout the mid and latter part of this webinar. The next thing is, what can be measured gets done. So one of the practices that I've personally started taking on is I write things down, I give it a deadline, and I actually go ahead and complete that task as best as possible. And once that's done, I rip off that sheet or I cross it out. And it's a good feeling once you get tasks finished and things like that. But that's one way in which you can measure getting things done. So what can be measured gets done. And the last thing is do for others. I'm a big fan of paying it forward and teaching what it is that I have learned to others. But here's the real deal. Here's exactly what it is that you guys will learn from this webinar. And you guys will see why a little bit later on, why I feel like this information is so important. So here's what exactly you will learn. And this is a promise to you guys. By the very end of this webinar, you guys will learn these things. All right, so number one, the 3 key things good communication achieves. And the second thing is the 3 ways in which brands, businesses, and people generally communicate. And then the next thing I promise that I'll deliver in this webinar is the benefits and disadvantage of each communication style. And as we go through it, you'll see the importance of that. Then from there, we'll take a look at which one you should use to create brand loyalty. And brand loyalty is very important if you are looking to build a brand that has substance and a brand that lasts. And then lastly, the basic formula that drives loyal behavior. And the word of the night is loyal, right? We do want to build that brand loyalty, and that is what we're set out to do throughout this webinar tonight. So as you guys take a look at this screen right now, you guys will see a series of logos that represent certain brands from all over the world. And one of the things that I want to touch on just for a little bit is the whole idea of brand and branding. So what a brand really is just an idea, a concept, a way of being, a way of thinking really. And a logo just represents that idea. So for example, let's take McDonald's. Now I say McDonald's and instantly you guys have a certain feeling, you guys have a certain idea, you guys even have a certain smell associated with McDonald's. The colors red and the colors yellow are also associated with McDonald's. And just by me saying the name McDonald's, you guys don't have to like look in my direction to see if there really is a McDonald's. You guys just automatically know, okay, well McDonald's, they sell burgers, they sell fries. And for a lot of kids, McDonald's just simply means fun. Kids just really, just want to have fun whenever they go to McDonald's. And McDonald's plays up on that by including a play place in many of their locations. So take a look at this. Internally just kind of make note of how it is that these brands are making you feel. So take a look at that. Take it in. You got that feeling? All right, so we're going to move on right now. So now we're going to actually get into the meat of things. And we're going to take it a little bit slow as we move on because I really want you guys to get the concept. I do have a few videos here to show you guys, and you guys will see that in a little bit. But all 3 of these communication types, they do drive behavior. And people, businesses, and brands primarily use 2 of these to communicate. Now, there's only one that actually drives loyalty. And that is the one that we will find out to the latter part of this webinar. But first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explore the first communication type. And I want you guys to go ahead and take this in. The first type is, you guys can write this down, manipulation. And manipulation comes about by price adjustments, facts and figures, sales, fear, threat, peer pressure. I mean, you guys see this all the time. Companies like The Brick and Leon's and things like that. For Boxing Days, you guys will always see it, 50% off. You guys could purchase, 3 items and get 1 for free. A lot of the times you see automotive dealers do this all the time, 0% financing and all these fancy things. But really, all this really is just manipulation, right? I know a really, really big telecom company here in the city of Toronto is Rogers. And they're always like, 5 million customers strong, as if 5 million customers strong, should gives me enough reason to go ahead and join them. But this is what manipulation does. It touches on, these facts and figures, and it shows you the numbers, and it looks all nice. And they do all this to say, hey, we're the better price or we're the better product because we have more gigs in our MP3 players. And they expect us to purchase their item because their facts and figures they claim to be better than the rest. But that's not necessarily always the case because, for example, if let's say that Best Buy is selling a television for $5.99, and you take a look at it, then you see that it's a decent price. But then you walk down the road and you see Walmart selling the exact same television for $4.99. The question is, who are you going to purchase from? So that's just something to consider. Now, the pros of manipulation is that they do drive sales. They drive fast sales. And that's why a lot of companies and brands, they isolate certain holidays in which they could really drum up large sales. So in Canada, there's Boxing Day, and in America, I know that Black Friday is a big day where people go out and go crazy when it comes to shopping. And brands and companies use these types of holidays to their advantage to throw out a lot of facts and figures, features, pricing to drive sales. And it definitely does drive desired behavior. They do make those sales, and that's why you hear a lot of the times they record record-breaking sales on those particular days. Now, the cons of manipulation is that it is very expensive to maintain. These guys have to be in your face virtually 24/7, 365 in magazines, in catalogs, on television, and on the radio just to try to drive their message home. But the big key thing here is that it does not drive brand loyalty. And that's the big key thing here, guys. Manipulation does not drive brand loyalty. It does, give you temporary spikes when it comes to sales, but it definitely does not drive brand loyalty. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and transition. I'm going to show you guys a video from the brick, from this Boxing Day sale, so you guys could get an idea. So no worries there. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this video up so you guys could see the point that I'm trying to illustrate here.
The Brick's famous Boxing Day blowout. Get 15% off all major appliances. Stainless steel Frigidaire fridge, only $4.98. All TVs are marked down or clearance priced. This 60-inch Samsung Plasma TV, only $8.98. 22-inch LED, only $88. Boxing Day only at the Brick.
Yeah, so you guys saw that video, and that's typically how it is that a lot of companies communicate. There's that manipulative notion where they really drive the facts and the figures. They drive the pricing, and they tell you to buy now, and whatever it is that they can do to say and do to get you to buy, they'll get you to buy, and that really is manipulation. And the next one is aspiration. And I know a lot of you guys, if you guys stay up sometimes after 11 at night, you guys will start to see these infomercials come on, talk about weight loss and dieting and things like that. It's very, very popular. Now take a look at this screen here. I have 2 Jenny Craig ads, and a lot of the times whenever you see the Jenny Craig ads, many of us who are interested to some degree when it comes to weight loss and fitness, we definitely do take an interest. And the thing about aspiration is that it plays on our desire to do better and to be better. And a lot of these ads and these brand messaging, they have a lot of testimonials, and many times truly it leaves us to be motivated to do the work. But usually that work that we feel like we need to do is short-lived. And I'll go ahead and explain that a little bit. So a lot of the times whenever you're, let's say you see Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers, or let's even take P90X, or in another industry, let's take a look at the debt industry, where they tell you, hey, you're in debt. And you know that you're in debt, right? Many of us are. You know that you're in debt and that you need to get out of debt. So they'll take a lot of testimonials and play up on that, and basically tell you that you could do better and you need to do better, and this product will help you to do that. Now, with aspiration, again, it definitely does go ahead and drive sales. But a lot of these sales are big one-offs. So, for example, I'm not sure if you guys remember the ab rocker, but the ab rocker came out and it completely just, skyrocketed their sales. Totally skyrocketed their sales. And a lot of people bought this ab rocker. But what happened was, the interesting thing that happened is that at the very end of, I guess, their study, they found out that a lot of people did buy their product. But when they did a follow-up of how many people were actually still using the product, very, very few people were actually still using the product. And what happens with aspirational messages is that it motivates you for that time being. And then after a while, after that motivation dies out, you are no longer motivated to go ahead and do the work. Unless, of course, you're that type of person, but the mass majority of individuals did not continue on with the program. So that's why, again, you'll find, Jenny Craig, companies like P90X, Weight Watchers, you'll see their advertisements in magazines, and you guys will see them also on television on a pretty much repetitive basis, because they really want to go ahead and drive that message home. And again, this type of messaging is very, very, very expensive, because you have to be in front of the individuals all the time and on an almost 24-hour basis, very similar to manipulation. But the positive side of this, though, is that the messaging is generally a good message. So this type of messaging is a little bit better than manipulation, but at the very same time, it doesn't get to the core of what it is that really gets people to buy. Again, if let's say that somebody goes ahead and suggests Jenny Craig to you, and then they say, hey, Jenny Craig works, that person you met on the street or at the mall or whatever it is, you guys don't necessarily know them from Adam. But then again, let's just say that a family member or a close friend mentions Weight Watchers to you, and they said, hey, I've tried Weight Watchers for the past 30 days, and it allowed me to go ahead and slim down 3 dress sizes, or it allowed me to do this and allows me to do that, and now I feel great. You guys will probably more likely go with your friend's suggestion as opposed to the person that you met at the mall. And that's just really how aspiration works. Many times it does leave you feeling guilty because you're like, man, I bought this program, but I'm just not feeling motivated to go ahead and do it. And then you take a look at the testimonials of all the people that did it, and then you take a look at your results, and you're like, man, it's not really working for me. And there's that guilt that kind of builds up on the inside. Another thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't drive consistent behavior. It may get spurts of behavior because you bought that product and you go ahead and you take a look at it underneath your bed, and from time to time, every 6 months or once a year, you pull out that ab rocker and you guys get crazy with it. You guys, go hard for maybe 2 or 3 hours or whatever it is, but at the very end of the day, it's not consistent behavior. And the bottom line is, it simply does not build brand loyalty. That's just the bottom line for it, man. It does not build brand loyalty. So again, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to transition over to a video so you guys could kind of see what it is that I'm talking about. And after that, then we'll transition back over onto the slides so we could then move on to the third type of communication style and get to the latter part of this webinar. So give me a moment as I go ahead and transition out of this and try to load up that video for you guys. So give me a quick moment.
40 pounds ago, I would have given this speech sitting down.
You name your goal. Jenny Craig helps you get there. Jenny is different from day one, with one-on-one consultations, so you have someone in your corner every step of the way. All that plus shockingly good food that's affordable. 6 times a day. You'll feel the difference on day 1 and every day after. Start today and get your first month free, plus the cost of food. Start your own success story. Go to jennycraig.com today.
All right, now I'm sure that many of you guys have probably seen that commercial before. I know I've definitely seen it several times. But that's really what an aspirational message does. And it's not necessarily a bad message. However, like I said, it just basically, just piques your interest. It motivates you for that particular time period. But there is no real lasting effect. And I'm speaking very generally here, guys. I know that there are individuals that do use these programs and they get great results with it. But I'm just talking about by and large. There's a lot of people that, buy into aspirational messages. They buy programs that will help them get out of debt, that will help them lose weight, that will get fit. But they don't necessarily keep up with it simply because of one element. And this one element we're about to touch on right now. And if you guys do have your pen and paper, you guys go ahead and start this next one, because this one here really will transform how it is that people respond to you and how it is that people respond to your brand as well. So this next one is inspiration. Now, with inspiration, we see a lot of storytelling, and we see a lot of what seems to be motivational. But the interesting thing is that inspiration speaks to a different part of the brain than manipulation and aspiration. And we're going to touch on that in a little bit. So people generally become proud advocates of inspirational brands, and people are willing to pay even a premium dollar amount to purchase products from these particular brands. So for example, right here we have Nike. Think about how many people actually go ahead, let's say go into Foot Locker or whatever athletic gear store it is that you choose. People go into these athletic stores, and the majority of them will skim past Adidas, they'll go past Reebok, they'll go past Puma, and they'll go past K-Swiss, and they'll go right over to Nike. And I asked myself this question, like, why is it that so many individuals, bypass all these other brands and they continually go over to Nike? A friend of mine works at Nike Canada, and she actually works in the retail division. And whenever Nike comes out with a new shoe, there is literally a lineup just to get the new Nike shoes. Now, when it comes to companies or when it comes to brands, we must understand that inspirational messages, they go a little bit more deep, and they take a little bit more time to develop than the first two, because the first two is really just to get the quick action. Inspirational messages is the type of message that will keep individuals coming back over and over and over again. And inspirational messages definitely leave you feeling empowered. It drives the desired behavior, and this type of communication style creates brand loyalty. So since we're on the topic of Nike, I'm going to give you a quick illustration of how Nike actually communicates as opposed to other brands. So when it comes to other brands, they'll be like, hey, we create sneakers, and these sneakers are very innovative, and we use the best material. Would you like to buy one of our sneakers? You're probably like, well, maybe. I mean, if you're an athlete and you take a look at it and it's a good pair of shoe or it's a good gear, then you're probably like, well, maybe. And that's really how most companies communicate. They'll tell you about the facts and the figures and who did it and what it did for that person. And they'll really try to tell you that because it happened for other individuals as well too, and because we did X amount of numbers, and they throw all these facts and figures at you, they expect you to be connected to that brand or that product to some degree. But the truth is that you're not connected with that particular brand unless you are inspired by that message that brand delivers. So this is how Nike actually communicates. I did some research on Nike, and I found out that Nike's mission statement is to provide inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And Nike's philosophy is, if you have a body, then you are an athlete. So this is how Nike actually goes ahead and communicates. I'm going to illustrate this. So Nike communicates their brand in this way. In everything we do, we believe in empowering you to be the greatest athlete ever. In order for us to do that, we make our products beautifully designed, very innovative, in order for you to be able to reach and attain your greatness. And by the way, we just so happen to make great sneakers. And that's how Nike goes ahead and communicates. Another great inspirational brand is Apple. Now, how many Apple commercials do you guys see on television or even here on the radio versus many of the other brands? Now, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys on over to a video of a Nike commercial, and you guys will see exactly what it is that I mean when I say that Nike uses inspirational messages as opposed to manipulative and aspirational messages in order to get their brand message across, in order for us to feel connected and drawn to the Nike brand, so that we would then be not only loyal to the brand but make a decision to act upon the brand. So give me a moment again. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the video so you guys will see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So give me a quick moment.
There are no grand celebrations here, no speeches, no bright lights, but there are great athletes. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is reserved for the chosen few. The truth is, greatness is not in one special place, and it is not in one special person. Greatness is wherever somebody is trying to find it.
And that, my friend, is how Nike actually goes ahead and communicates. Now, you guys could definitely tell the stark difference between that type of communication versus the previous two. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but Nike didn't even actually promote a product in that particular ad. They did not promote a product. In the first two, I mean, you saw a whole heap of products, and you heard people's testimonies as well too in the aspirational messaging. This is how Nike generally does their advertising. They throw out these inspirational messages and people connect with it. Why? The reason is simply because that message, Nike's message, says something about themselves. Whenever somebody puts on a pair of Jordans, or whenever somebody watches Tiger Woods or LeBron James plays basketball, that kid or that individual is like, all right, cool, I want to be like LeBron James. Or whenever you put on the Nike, I remember, man, when I was younger and I put on my first pair of Nikes, I felt like Michael Jordan. And me and my 5'2" skinny self on the basketball court, running up and down or whatever, I felt like Michael Jordan, right? Nike, through its products and through its brand, said something about what it is that I personally believed about myself. I personally believed that I was great. I personally believed that I could do all these fantastic things, and I just wanted to do it. If you notice Nike's slogan, "Just do it," man, I just wanted to go ahead and do it. Little old me didn't know how it is that I was going to do it, but I knew that I was going to go ahead and do it. And if you take a look at the screen, you guys will see that quote in the left-hand corner of that ad. It says, "Everyone loses games, few change them." So if you believe that you are a game changer, this ad will definitely resonate with you, and you will more likely be apt to choose Nike as your brand of choice as opposed to the other competing brands, simply because Nike consistently uses inspirational messages to say something about who it is that they are as a company, and we resonate with it because truly we believe that inside of us, we believe that we are great as well too. I think it is also important to note that that Nike is actually the goddess of victory. I believe in Roman mythology, Nike is actually the goddess of victory, and that swoosh actually represents a piece of the wing of the goddess of victory. And whenever Nike slaps that swoosh or that wing on every shoe or on every product, their goal is to make you fly and to believe that you can fly. So inspirational messages, my friends, are the types of communication that will not only get people to act in a way that is desired, but it creates brand loyalty. Now, if you guys have read my blogs or have seen any of my blogs, really, you guys will see that I try to break things down into bite-sized pieces for you guys to go ahead and understand. And if you really want to find out how to go ahead and craft a brand message that is inspirational, to drive desired behavior, to drive loyalty, you guys could hit me up via email, catch me on social media, and I'll be more than willing to send you some information in as how it is that you guys go ahead and create these types of inspirational messages. So as I move on now, I'm gonna touch on a little bit of the psychology of what really is happening behind the scenes as to why we behave the way it is that we do to these different types of messages, and how it is that we could go ahead and codify this way of communicating that really just drives inspiration as opposed to it being manipulative or aspirational. This really, guys, is a psychology behind all of what it is that I was talking about. I'm not necessarily able to go into great detail, but I hope that this will give you a little bit of an outline as to what is actually going on in somebody's mind when we are communicating with them. So I got this concept from a gentleman named Simon Sinek, and he wrote a book called Start With Why. I went ahead and bought the book. I watched his TED Talks video, and this concept here blew my mind completely. And ever since I learned this concept, I have changed the way how it is that I've communicated, and I've seen massive results as I have went in and changed the way how it is that I've communicated. Now you guys will see 3 circles here. On the inner circle you'll see why, middle circle you'll see how, and on the outer circle you'll see what. Now whenever people, brands, or companies communicate, they generally start from the outside and then they move in. So the truth is, everybody knows what it is that they do. Some people know how they do it, but a very select few know why they do it. So where you have all those other companies, whenever they come in from the what perspective, what you're seeing or what you're hearing are facts and figures, and that really speaks to the manipulative side of things. They're speaking through the communication style of manipulation. So they'll throw at you, gigahertz. They'll throw at you size. They'll throw pricing. They'll throw all these, fancy numbers and things to you that probably makes absolutely no sense to you, and they expect you to buy their product or resonate with their brand by them telling you exactly what it is that they do. And frankly, you may not even care what it is that they do, to be honest. And some companies know how it is that they do it. But the truly powerful companies, though, companies like, I'm mentioning Nike and Apple a lot simply because these guys, in my opinion, do the best at this. So when Nike goes ahead and communicates their brand message, they start with the reason why first. And the reason why for Nike is because they believe that everyone is an athlete. And that is why Nike's brand message is so powerful. Let's take a look at Apple. At Apple, their why really is to think different. They believe that they need to challenge the status quo, and that is why it is that Apple does what it is that it does. And how it is that they do it is, or the innovative processes by making their things look user-friendly and all that fancy stuff. But their what now may come through an MP3 player, it may come through the iPhone, it may come through their iPads, it may come through their desktop software. So Apple, as far as I'm concerned, could make a car, and a lot of people would go out there and buy it. As a matter of fact, I could almost guarantee if Apple makes a car, there will be a lineup around the Apple dealership just to purchase the Apple car. Reason being because Apple's why is so strong. And people that believe in what Apple believes, people that believe in what Nike believes, people that believe in what it is that you believe will resonate, and whatever that tangible product or whatever that that tangible piece of what it is that you would like to put together to represent your why, people will automatically buy into it. Now, this is really what is going on here. The what speaks to the section of the brain that is known as the neocortex. And the neocortex is the area that understands a lot of facts and figures and language and things like that. And so that's why whenever somebody goes ahead and throws out all these facts and figures to us, it just hits us. Yes, we may understand it, but for some reason that purchase or that resonation just doesn't feel right with us. And the reason why it doesn't feel right with us is because the part of our brain that deals with emotion and feelings is the limbic brain. And if you guys notice where the limbic brain is located, it's right into the bullseye, is right into the why. So if we could create brand messages that speak to people's emotions and speak to people's feelings, then we start crafting a message that starts with why first. And then from there, whatever the what is, whatever that product is, whatever that tangible item is, people will more likely be apt to take that particular product or item that it is that you're offering over somebody else's that is just speaking to the what. So that's just a little bit behind the chemistry and biology of what is going on in your mind when it comes to the language and throwing out the facts and the figures and things like that. I do have a blog that goes in and explains a little bit more about this if you guys want to dive in. I'm going to go ahead and include a link for all you guys at the very end for you guys to go ahead and visit and read a little bit more about this. But that's pretty much it, guys. Branding is one of those things that can be tricky. It does definitely take some time to go ahead and build. And because a lot of my blog content deals with personal branding, I really want to get you guys to think a little bit more laterally here. I know the information presented dealt a lot more with products and services, but if you're looking to go ahead and build a powerful personal brand, this same concept applies itself to you. So if you guys learn to communicate with the why, and then the how, and then the what, then people start resonating not only with you but also with your brand a whole lot more, and then you'll literally start seeing people react to you differently. So this is really the key here, this golden circle, and learning to speak in an inspirational method as opposed to manipulating and as opposed to aspiring, speaking from the inside out. If you pour your heart out, guys, people will respond to you better than just saying, hey, you need to buy my product. They're going to ask you, well, why? And if you can't really explain the why, then that connection will more likely not be there. So just a few points to remember as you go ahead and wrap up tonight, guys. Your brand message should be clear and easy to understand. The messages that inspire always outlast the messages that manipulate or aspire, and messages that inspire creates brand loyalty. And also, if you guys haven't done so, go ahead and consider your brand message and go ahead and remodel it to start with why. If you guys also noticed as well too, in the promotions and even through this webinar, you guys might have seen the hashtag Inspire Positive Change. That is what I'm all about, inspiring positive change, and that's what it is that I want for you guys as well too. I want you guys to be agents of change. I want you guys to inspire positive change to not only people within your immediate circle, but to whomever it is that you guys get in contact with. So once again, this is Kesean Kenton, Brand and Creative Director for Proto Image. I'll catch you guys on the next webinar, and remember to go out there, love, live, laugh, and inspire positive change. And I'll catch you guys on the next webinar event. Take care and good night, guys.